Laughing vampires dance. Feel the voodoo curse. Liberty City, arise. This is the Liquid Gold X from Monoprice. Monolith, Monoprice, whatever. And they sent it to me, and I didn't look up the specs or the price until like recently, because I don't like want to know. I want to try it. I want to play with it, and then I want to know. And I was hoping it was going to be like cheapish because it sounds amazing, but it's $1,000, but it sounds amazing. So it's like, I can't have everything in this world, and neither can you. Nice shit costs money. Isn't that the worst? We should protest or something. So I've got a selection of headphones here. I don't think you can buy these anymore. People are asking like absurd amounts of money for them. They're the Klipsch HP3s. I love them. Put a kiss on there. The new 5XX lightweight boy, because I need more praise, and I'll do that if I can. So link to drop on this. And my TH909s with the new Viking Weave cable that accepts the Heart Audio connectors, so I could swap it to anything I want. And this is made of like weave silver with red and blue because I'm a psycho. And but point is, I brought out some really nice headphones for this because this is $1,000. I was like, could it be $5? Maybe $6. No, it's $1,000. And you know what? It's one of the nicest pieces of equipment that's ever graced my desk. Like nicest, like build and sound. And Alex Cavelli, who he gets a lot of praise, but I always think it's like too much. And then like the Liquid Spark, like the cheap one, like the one that looks like this. This is the Liquid Spark DAC. It's a Liquid Spark amp. I think it was great. Best build to the group, always. A little bit warmer, a little bit sparklier. Yeah, okay, whatever. It's got its own sound. Then you start analyzing, like you start going into like the the topping A90, but the waifu on the A90, because this is the most linear, fuck you, linear headphone amp. And that's what it does. That's its job. No, that goes to the DAC that's over there. I'm going to lose everything. It's fine. But I don't live just in like perfect linearity. I like a little fun. This whole stack is fun. And somewhere magically in the middle between very, very serious business and fun lies the Liquid Gold X. Because I plugged a couple headphones into it and went, ooh. The most important being the 909, because if anyone who knows my 909 review, it's like the 909 does not like working at all on anything. It's like I have to go to 1950s vintage tube in an X-Duo TA10, not the 20 or the 30, the old one, the cheap one, because it has to be a fucking hybrid, and then it'll work, and it's perfect. So to my surprise, when I finally pulled these out to plug it into this, it was like, oh, that works. That works. That works. Maybe there's something to this. So, pick the wallpaper, put on K-Job from Grand Theft Auto 3. Best radio stations, I believe, are either Vice City or Grand Theft Auto 3. Grand Theft Auto 3's Chatterbox was obviously the best. And then Vice City probably had the best, like, round of music. But,
So this is Studio 2. With double the love.
like, this is a terrible audio to listen to, by the way. The actual radio station rips from Grand Theft Auto 3 are like 96 kilobyte MP3s. It's great. It's terrible. It's great. Terrible. But it's great. But you put on Ennio Morricone, and all of a sudden you're like, I think it might be the name. I think I'm getting influenced by the marketing. Because, motherfucker, when you write liquid gold on something, that puts a vision in your head of what something should sound like. And I sit here going, yes, that is liquidy. Oh, the gold. It actually does perform the liquid gold tasks. It's not a perfect unit. We're going to get over to some, there's at least one issue that I'm like, but I think the overall is a positive review. We're going to go into a positive review now. I tried to plug it in USB to my laptop because I'm using my Windows 7 laptop. Don't fucking judge me. All right, that's the same review laptop I'm using for the start of this channel, and it just has to play music. It just has to play music, and if it's fiber optic, it doesn't matter. If it's coax digital, it doesn't matter. If it's USB, it's like So I didn't bother going with this ripping apart my shit. We're starting to get to the warmth now. I turned it off, went upstairs, made food, came back down, and I turned it back on, and we're getting to the warm. It's starting to warm up again. This thing has. Can we talk about the build, please? Please, can we talk about the build? Because when I unboxed it, I was like, ugh. I think I made that sound. I'm gonna unplug all the sources. I'm gonna leave the power plugged in because this is how Zeos do. Excuse the fingerprints on top. My rag is upstairs. So you have giant vents that you can just see inside. There's where the heat's gonna come from. Here's where the heat's gonna come from. Here's the that's why the LEDs suck. We gotta talk about how the LEDs suck. Monolith, Alex Cavelli, very, very dark, like shadow written there. It just says Liquid Gold X here randomly when there's plenty of space here. Like here's the power button and this giant gap and then single-ended and then a picture of a headphone and then a picture, you know, there's a big, this is B for balanced. That's SE for single-ended. We'll get back to that because over here it says S and not SE. But then here's the power indicator. Can you fucking see it? I can't. It's almost impossible. The LEDs, and there's several of them here. Oh, it's blinking because it's unplugged. The LED, I'm not in very bright light. This thing's on 30%. The basement lights are brighter than this. And I can't, at this angle, tell if it's on and what input's on. You've got to, like, tilt it and then, like, okay, there. There, I can finally make out if those are actually functioning. So, power, which is a digital, and that goes to red and then blinks. Does it stop blinking? Then it's off. And turn it red. It's on. It's still red. It's still red. It's red. We're still red. It's a very bright red, but it's very deep, so you have to be like right at it. We're still red. We're waiting for the unit to decide it wants to make, and then there it is, made sound. Again, the completely improperly placed Liquid Gold X logo. That should fucking totally be here. This is the high-low gain switch. And right now, it's not making my headphones pop because my headphones aren't plugged in. That's a big one. That's a big one that I'm not sure if it's just my unit. I have to, there aren't many reviews of this yet. If you have one or if you get one, please tell me if you hit this button, if the whole headphone goes, no matter what the volume's at, it's like that's, you're doing bad. But we'll forget that for now and consider it like a single unit failure and keep moving on. The volume knob, which is perfectly centered in this thing. Little divot to indicate the volume. Hi, Chewbacca. Perfectly machined. Like, I love this knob. It sticks. I think I have an obsession with knobs. Like, there are better amps than the Rebel amp. Like, the Flux amps are better amps. But the knob on the Rebel amp is my bae. Like, I look how big it sticks out. Like, this one's a little bit like, ee. This one's like, I'm going to crank it like I'm taking off a mayonnaise lid. Then you have two other buttons here, one marked D and one marked I. Then you have a series of lights marked OCU DBS. And using my powers of just knowing what the fuck's going on, I was able to determine that the D button switches the OCU and the I button switches the DBS. And D stands for digital, so it's a digital selector. But first, you have to collect I, get I to the D, which stands for the digital input instead of the balanced or single-ended. Keeping in mind that this says single-ended with an E, and this just says S for single. So it's basically like it's a matrix, it's a encoder. It's like Tomb Raider. So out of these 6 lights, one of these right ones have to light up, and then either none of these or the D and then one of these. So if I had the Liquid Spark DAC going into the RCAs, I would then set the input to S for single-ended, and then this will just blink because it's just useless because I'm not selecting any of these, and they blink when there's no live feed into it. So they just blink all the time. They're just going to blink all the time. Let's plug a digital thing back into it. Let's plug the coaxial back into it. I should look at the back before I do that. Here's the back. We have our power plug, and unlike most $1,000 DAC amp combos, it's got a power brick, which is a 36 volt 1.4 amp for 4, not 5. There are 4 amps. We have an auto on-off button, or auto and off, I should say. Auto off. Auto off on. Auto off off. We're going to make it through this together, boys and girls. We're fine. We're fine. We're fine. I'm pretty sure every plug here is upside down because the optical has the flat part at the bottom. That's not usually the case. It's not even the case on this. And then the USB has the flat part at the top, which I'm pretty sure is also not the case. So they must mount to the board against the roof. That's the only thing I could think of. And then these are the other inputs. They're all inputs, which I'm going to bring up a mode of contention as well, because you have a single-ended input and a balanced input. So you buy a $1,000 combo DAC amp. You get the DAC that's built into this, which is I think it's AKM, hold on. Which is an AKM AK4493EQ, which is not really the highest end DAC that's out there. But AKM burned to the ground, so you're not going to be able to buy these anymore, I'm sure. It's going to be fucking fantastic. But if I buy a $1,000 DAC amp combo, I expect to be able to use it to power my headphones or give me access to the DAC so I could push it to a speaker amp or something else. Instead, what this does is it gives you a DAC built in, and then it says, and you could also feed us from another DAC, which you can buy anywhere else, or it's some other source. So it's in, no outs. The only outs are on the front, and they're for headphones. Kind of like, I don't know why they couldn't put a switch here that makes the balanced input a balanced output to use the balanced DAC out. But we'll forgive them. But whatever. The bottom, by the way, look at that window. Look at the pyramid-shaped plugs in the window. So we've got the vents here, and then the vents go in. We got air inlet here, and there's air slots here in the front, and air slots in the back. It's beautifully built. It's got fingerprints on it for a fucking reason. I keep touching it. This is one of the first units that feels like 1,000. Oh God, did I just turn it off? I did. No, gotta go through that whole cycle again. Gotta be careful to turn it off by accident. So yeah, I love the shape of it. All these interesting, this rounded bit, this bit that tucks in but isn't flat. It does a marvelous job of looking the part of $1,000. All it's missing is an actual acrylic window here. Take note, Monoprice. Just make a special edition. In fact, this is the Liquid Gold X. This could be the Liquid Gold Z. And you just take this top and you make another window here. I don't care what's in it. Put an LED, put a white LED that just lights it up. It'd be worth $1,200. Make it $1,200, make it the Z edition, and send me one. So let's hook this back up because I want to go back to listening to my headphones, which I'm still wearing, by the way. We could just avoid using the original. Wait, what am I wearing? 5XX. I'm gonna put the 5XX here. 5XX can go down. You wait. Let's take the HP3s for a spin. We have to talk about power. And the problem with power, in this case is a lot of it. Let's move this over. We're running. We are on single-ended, which means music is playing because that DAC is feeding this. So I've got a $100 monolith DAC feeding it. And you know what Rob Dugan is? It's great music. But he's singing into his laptop microphone. I wanted to come. Of some of the siblings. Yeah. Oh God, I forgot how great these headphones were. I haven't used them in months. I haven't used them since I moved in. I organized them all, but I can't use everything all the time. That would be like another job on top of my job, on top of the other job of unboxing, on top of the job of running the house. I can't. Enjoying of music? No, fuck that. So sitting here listening to what is already a soft, warm, gentle headphone through what I consider to be a liquid butter amp. Forget this liquid gold shit. Although liquid gold you could construe butter out of that. And I'm on low gain. And I want to die at 10 o'clock. Not at night. 10 o'clock on the knob. So here is death already on single-ended. And it's got a bit of a ramp up. You go 9 o'clock and it's like, oh, it's not loud enough yet. I'm going to raise it up. Dying 11 o'clock. Maximum I'd ever... It's the loudest I'd ever play those headphones. Is noon at this on a gentle song from the 80s starring Arnold Schwarzenegger. So that's where the problem lies. The biggest problem, other than the pop, which, are you ready for the pop? Because it's completely volume down. That is not just, there's a relay that's going click, 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 click. And you hear it, but there's a pop that's happening in my headphones. Now, again, we're going to just assume that's this unit and every other unit doesn't do that, because if it was something in the manual that said, hey, make sure you lower the volume before you switch to high-low gain, which is a good procedure to do, by the way, the volume's all the way down, yet it's still pulsating shit through the headphone. So, negative 10 points to Gryffindor over here. There's also no indicator of high or low gain. Actually, no, it's in or out, so at least you know. But it's a visual thing, and you have to sort of figure that out. Put these back on. Can I get some music that actually plays? Oh, high. Oh, guy, high. High is too high. All right, I'm going to switch off the single-ended input, and I'm going to go from S to B to balance. We don't have a balance stack set into this yet. I'll probably end up getting the Pegasus, Musician Pegasus. The R2R DAC is upstairs powering stacks currently. So now we're on D for digital, but now D is on U, which is USB, which is not plugged in, so I got to hit the D button to go to coaxial, which is plugged in. You following? It's easy. Now here's the thing, now that I could switch between that $100 DAC and the internal DAC that's built into this, and that's getting fiber optic, and that's getting coax, both from a topping D10S, I barely hear a difference. So I think what they're saying, by using an AK93, the lower end DAC, they stopped us from being a $1,500 unit, made it a $1,000 unit, which I think what you're doing is you're paying $900 for the amplifier, and they just happen to include a liquid spark DAC internally, a balanced version of it at least. Because on single-ended in versus the straight-in directional, I'm on these headphones at least. All I got to do is hit input. Ready? There's zero change in volume. And I'm staring at it. Granted, it's Rob Zombie playing, so I'm not 100%. I hear Mystery Lou, 24-bit. I'm at 11 o'clock because it's a quiet song. Oh, it's on single-ended. So let's go back to the digital. So now I'm on the internal DAC. Closing my eyes. Give me a second. Absolutely fucking nothing. There's no change going from the digital input to that DAC. Analog input. No, none. So they're exactly the same. So, and that's, I'm not a human oscilloscope, but for what I know and for what I understand about headphones and this headphone and this particular track, which I know, if I hit that button and nothing changes in my eyes, there's no width, there's no low end, there's no hums, it would probably take about 200 more hours to really analyze it. But let's assume that the DAC in this is not the reason you're buying it. It works. It absolutely sounds fucking phenomenal with it. But I think you could probably scale this up with a higher end DAC than what that is and then what's internal. Which means I should do that for the rest of this review. But I'm not gonna, because it sounds fucking good already. I don't have to sell it anymore. I don't have to sell it anymore. I'm selling you this as a package. It is a package deal. It is a DAC amp combo that I wholly represent and recommend and regurgitate all the R words. All right, so pops and louder. It isn't even much louder when you go to high gain. Like it's 15% louder, and you still gotta get a loud click pop in your headphones for it. Oh my God, this is such a smooth amp. Holy shit. Because that's the thing. That is a Class A amp, and that is a not Class A fucking stellar linear amp. And this is an amp. It goes ooh. Everything I play in it goes ooh. Let's put something expensive on it. Well, I mean, everything I plugged into it so far is expensive. Where the fuck are my KPH30Is? You know what? Hold on a second. Daddy Zeos needs to know something. And I have a brand new set that I opened up because I keep losing them. Before I switch over to that, let's get some real quality going. Because fuck you. And if you don't think the KPH30Is are worth your time because you're a fancy audiophile, fuck you. KPH30Is are God. Oh. You know what scaling means? You know what happens when a headphone scales? When a headphone scales, you plug a great this great HD600s are amazing headphone, but you plug them into a cheap thing and they sound pretty good. You plug them into like a tube thing, oh, it sounds even better. Plug it into an expensive tube thing, it sounds even better. You plug it into a 10,000, it sounds even better. It scales, it keeps going up and up and up. And KPH30Is fucking scale. When I brought these, when these were at RMAF, at our room, I dedicated a 789 to this. When the 789 was the bee's knees best amp you can get, it was just this on the 789. Everything else got something else. But these got a 789, and oh my God, do they deserve it? Do they deserve a Liquid Gold X? That is just fucking butter. Club Descara. Hold on, I'm gonna go again. These have no right sounding this good. I stopped this video. I don't even need to put these back away. No one needs to see these. Actually, those handle the power a little bit better than these are going to handle the power because the 909s hate amps, but they like this one. I am going balanced with the custom cable. I do not believe it's the silver cable that is causing them to sound... Get off of there. Causing them to sound so good. I love that. I love the dual entry for like, it goes all the way down. This way I can just turn my head and it never gets pulled. Oh, yeah. And of course, my 909s are running Yaxi pads, the TH900 Yaxi pads. Breathe in a little bit. Okay, these are better than KPH30Is. That's it. Review over of these 909s. Oh, wait. Oh, my God. How? What? We're getting it's nice and warm now. It's like you can keep a sandwich warm right here on top of it. It's not hot. It's like, ooh, it's literally a butter machine. You put butter here and it just pours into the grills and then out the bottom, and that's where the popcorn is, and you just listen to your fucking music on it. This amp and these headphones, it may be a permanent combination. I didn't know. That's on low gain, obviously. If you go to high gain, it pops my fucking headphones. And I barely changes the volume. But now, I'll read you some specs. I hate doing that, but it's important that you know what kind of power we're talking about because we've been talking for 27 minutes. It feels like it's about a 27-minute mark. Oh, pubers. Pubies. You're better than the Liquid Gold X. Yeah, I like you, baby. All right? Don't go play with the spider traps. Go find dinner. Go. It's movie night tonight. History of the World Part 1. Brother's pick. Next week's my pick. Sean Connery just passed away, so I have to do it. I've never seen Zardos. And Sean Connery fucking died. He was a hero of mine. He's gone now. We have to watch Zardos. Oh, power. Okay, so at 33 ohms on balance, it's 6.22 watts. What the fuck does that mean? Is that the volts are? Oh, I was telling you the volts are a mess. We don't care about that. No one cares about that. So yeah, 33 ohms is 6.22 watts. 56 ohms, 3.93 watts, which is essentially 4 watts. 150 ohms is 1.6 watts. And 300 ohms is 0.82 watts. Balanced. The single-ended output, 33 is 1.77, so nearly 2 watts output at 33 ohms, which is 33, 32, like where the shit heresy and stuff are, so twice as powerful at a single-ended already. And then at 56 ohms, which is what T50s are, T60s and Argons, 1.11 watts per channel. You're buying a $900 amplifier. This amplifier, yeah, it has a DAC, great. This is an amplifier. the THD and noise, the 0.0012, the 0.00019 IMD CCIF, all these fucking zeros and shit. It's fantastic. The crosstalk, however, is 88 decibels, negative 88, which is a little bit high, but you know what? I don't care. It's got a channel balance of 0.1 decibels and an output impedance of 0.13 and 0.17 for the unbalanced, 0.13 for the balanced. Are we done? Are we done looking at this? The product weighs 4.3 pounds. Yeah, minimize. Back to her. Because, yes, a live version of AC/DC's. You shook me all night long. Got to be careful. This will definitely get me pulled. So my only problem, I have 3 problems with this amp. And 3 reasons, if you're like, I don't want to spend $1,000 to keep emptying out my bank account every fucking week. Here's 3 reasons not to buy this. The LEDs are too dark and I can't see them. I don't usually complain about LEDs being too dim. Usually they're too fucking bright. But I literally can't see. Oh, there they are. They're a line of sight with the straight forward of the unit. So you have to end up putting it on a high table on top of like a bracket. So that's dumb. Number 2, the popping on the high-low gain. Could just be my unit. If it's everyone's unit, it's something to note. You're going to probably have to unplug it to switch from high to low. Although, honestly, there's such a little difference between high and low. Leave it on low. You don't need any more power. If you need more power, I can't help you. And the third thing is the more power problem is that the volume control is literally, I'm dying. So what I'd probably end up doing, if I keep this, like around here, like I think I want to keep it around here, is feed it balance from a good DAC that has a volume control, D90, and just lower it down 12 to 16 decibels so that I can use more of the volume knob. Then that's it. It's beautiful. It's well put together. It works. It's warm. I don't hate the fact that it's got an external power brick because this keeps a lot of the 110 shit just away. Shook me all night long. It did not take me very long to fall in love with this amplifier.
They have a store that just sells shows. I feel like I'm in Paris.
Marge Simpson's. Mel Simpson's. Marge Simpson sounds fucking amazing. So I don't... Because this is roughly the same price, similar to an RME ADI2, linked in the description. The RME ADI2 is a German-made balanced DAC amp, single-ended output in the front, balanced XLR outputs in the back, with the most impressive suite of features I've ever seen. I'd rather listen to this. Because now it's just, forget this has a DAC built in. This is a pure fucking amplifier. You can plug an RME ADI2 into this, which would be a better DAC than it's got, and then this is serious business. You can't stack it. Can you stack it? I guess you could stack it, because the feet are down here, like this spot. It's so warm right now. Like, it's just like the warmth is radiating out of it, and it's just, I love it. I love this thing. I fucking love this thing. It took me like 4 minutes of listening to the first song go, oh, you're great. Because Mono Price has put out some great things and some okay things. It's Alex fucking Cavalli. Signing is not goddamn Cavalli. Cavalli. Sorry, Alex. Cavalli. This thing is worth every penny they're paying him to put his name on shit. So, the end. This is the end for DAC amp combos, or more likely amps. In far as amps, like you got A90 for linearity, you got things like the Rebel amp or the Flux Labs for Class A goodness. This takes like the Class A goodness and ramps it up to $1,000. Which I don't like to say shit like that, because then it seems like you just pay more for better, pay more for better. That isn't always the case. I mean, this is a proof right here. Paying more for better isn't exactly a thing unless you want to spend. But this is $30 and this is $1,800. So the fact that this is slightly better than this is sort of an indication that, you don't always get what you pay for. Wallpaper available in the description. Links to all the things I talked about, links to that, links to this, links to this, links to this, links to this, in the description. thank you for stopping by. If you like these videos and you want to see them early so that you can get ahead of people's opinion on the public, the public mass crowd, you can beat them by joining my Patreon or Subscribe Star for $5 a month. Either one of those, you'll get to see these reviews early, participate in the yard sales, option from the 1st to the 10th, which I'd probably put like the liquid spark DAC in that. But if they don't ask for this back, because I haven't yet, I'm just going to slide it under the table and just, I don't know what you didn't send me anything. What are you fucking about? I don't know what you're fucking talking about. But yeah, things go in the yard sales, and ask me any questions you want on platform. If I don't get back to you fast enough on the platform, because it is crowded in there, feel free to step it up to the $10 Patreon or Subscribe Star chat price, where you get to the private behind the scenes Telegram chat, where I only ignore them when I'm doing a review. Like if I'm eating dinner, I will answer your questions. If I'm taking a poo, I'll answer your questions. If I'm doing a review or a sound demo, I probably won't answer your questions. Are there any questions? Of course there are. There's always questions. Anyway, wallpaper, crop it out. Hi-Fi Guides forum. I'm sure there's a post already for this thing. If there isn't, I will go there and I'll be like. I will like the post on my own forums because it's fucking great. I'm actually going to review the Liquid Spark DAC next. I was hooking up like this. I'm going to hook this up to the A90 because I want to get it out of this sort of like, and I want to see how that sounds through a full linear amplifier. And then we'll do that review. So I'll see you all tomorrow for another review. I've been Zeos Pantera, your host and basement dweller extraordinaire. It doesn't count as a basement dweller if I own the whole fucking house. People are like, oh, you moved up to your basement just like in your mom's house. Fuck you. I'm paying the mortgage here. Well, patrons are paying the mortgage here. So I'm in their basement. Oh, fuck.